Here's an objection we all fucking hate. I am shopping around. That is the exact objection that we're going to be handling today. My name is Chandler Molyneux. Welcome into the Act First show where we help coaches get better at sales. All right, let's do it. Let's waste no time. So shopping around. Why exactly do people say it? They say, I want to weigh out all my options. I'm shopping around. I got a couple other calls with a couple other mentors. Here are the reasons they say it. One, they struggle to make decisions. Like that is their personality. They want to collect all the information. They're more of the paralysis by analysis type. There's some underlying fear on making the decision. So instead of making the decision, what makes them feel good is to continue to get on calls with other mentors, right? That is a potential, right? The other potential here is they didn't tell you something, whether maybe they don't like the program, they can't afford the program, that they don't have time for the program. There's a piece of information that's missing. So this objection handling framework, what we are going to do will eliminate any of those reasons, right? So we'll find out and we'll isolate if it is, time, money, fear, they don't believe in the program. And if it's none of those things, then we're going to work through an exercise to show them that we are the right program. All right, so how exactly do we do that? You guys already know this. First and foremost, we are going to agree with the objection. Hey, Chad, I'm shopping around. I'm looking at different mentorships. Steve, totally get it. Honestly, I would be a little weirded out if we were the only mentorship that we were looking at or that you were looking at. Is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions though? All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we're fishing, all right? So we're trying to see if it's any other reason other than actually they are shopping around, right? So we're trying to see is this a front or is this legitimate? So how we do that is we say, all right, Steve, cool if I ask you a couple of questions? They say yes. We say, awesome. So you believe 110% XYZ program can help you lose these 30 pounds. Is that right? Get them to confirm they believe in the program, right? If they say no, that they don't believe in the program, then we just dig deeper. We say, hey, no worries at all. What was missing in the program? What were you hoping to see? What were you hoping to get out of the program? Well, Chad, I was hoping I'd have a little bit more support. Boom, we go back to the support slide. We go over our support. We ask them, does that help clarify things or do you still need more, right? Sometimes they might say, oh, well, to be honest, Chad, I wasn't really paying attention. I get it now. This is perfect. Or, Chad, I'd love an extra call, right? And at that point, you can work through that, okay? So the next one here is time, right? Do you believe that you have the time for this program? So I would try to confirm the program, right? And then I would say, okay, cool. So you believe in the program. That's amazing. Now, when it comes to time, now that you've seen everything that goes into the program, do you feel confident you have the time to execute on this? If they say yes, great, we move to the next question. If they say no, right, then what I like to do is I don't like to handle this emotionally yet. I like to handle it logically first. So I like to say, all right, cool. Hey, no worries at all. There are parts of our program that are customizable, but bare minimum to be successful, this program is going to require 4 hours a week of your time. Do you feel confident that you can find 4 hours? If they say yes, great. We've isolated the objection. We can move on. If they say no, then at that point you can dig deeper and weigh out the benefits and cons. And what I mean by that is there are probably things in their life that they're spending time on that don't give them a great result, right? So you can dig into their calendar, figure out they're spending 2 hours on TV, and then you can say, do you think this is a fair trade? We can give up the TV so you can actually start working on losing this weight. Do you see that as a fair trade, right? And then you could dig into that, okay? Now, the third one here is belief. So here's how I word that. So I confirm the program, I confirm the time. I say, great, the third thing I want to check in on is your belief. Do you believe you could be successful at this? Or is there some underlying fear, maybe some imposter syndrome, right? At that point, they will either say, no, I feel 100% confident. If they say there is imposter syndrome, what I like to do is I like to say, hey, I know the answer to this already, but tell me again, what's the biggest reason you're on this call? What's the biggest reason you want to make this change? Get them to say whatever they say. And then you would say, all right, now I'm going to challenge you here for a second. Do we want to let something as silly as imposter syndrome hold us back from reaching the outcome you just told me? Usually they say no, and then I say, great, so you are willing, my contact is doing something weird right now. So you are willing to push through the imposter syndrome and take action, is that right? Get confirmation that they are, and then I move on to the next one. Okay, so we confirm the program. We confirm they have time for the program. We confirm their own personal belief in themselves. The last thing would be the money, right? So the last thing I would say is cool, in all the payment plans that we went over today, all the financing we went over today, at the end of the day, do you feel confident you can afford this program? If they say yes, great. If they say no, maybe we downsell at that point. All right, so let's recap. So we agreed that, I totally fine if you want to shop around, totally get it. I would be weirded out if we were your only option. All right, and then I say, cool if I ask you a couple of questions. I just want to dig a little bit deeper. Is it okay if I ask you a couple of questions? They say yes, confirm the program, confirm they have time, confirm their personal belief, confirm the money. All right, so if they say yes to all those things, what have we established? We've established that this is a legitimate and real objection. They actually want to shop around. All right, this is where we take them through a very powerful exercise. So what I like to say at this point is I say, great, okay, so you believe in the program, you have time for the program, you believe in yourself, you believe you can afford this. Is it okay if I take you through a quick exercise? They say yes. All right, here's what you're going to have them do. You're going to say this word for word. All right, you're going to say, amazing. Okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to break out paper and pen. Give them a couple minutes if they don't have it already. All right, so you have the paper and pen. I want you to draw a T-chart. Okay, so we're going to draw a T-chart. Now, on the left-hand side, I want you to write down everything that your dream mentorship would have. If you can create your own mentorship to solve this problem, what exactly would it offer? Okay, on the opposite side, on the right-hand side, what I want you to write down is everything you loved about our program. All right, so let's go ahead. Left-hand side, write down what would your dream mentorship offer. Okay, give them a couple of minutes. Let them write that down. Then we write down everything that they like about our program. All right, let's assume that exercise is done. All right, so now what I'm going to do, they're going to say, all right, Chad, I'm done. I finished. Okay, cool. So tell me, what exactly does your dream mentorship have? If you can create your own mentorship in a lab, what would it include? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now tell me, what is everything you liked about our program? Boom, 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 boom. What you'll find, y'all, is 90% of the time, majority of the time, you are their dream mentorship. You are offering exactly what they need. Because the truth is, people don't need much. They need encouragement, they need motivation, they need accountability, they need a community, they need support, they need a strategy, right? Most programs offer that stuff already. So here's what you're going to do. All right, you're going to say, once they've gone through that, right, they tell you what their dream mentorship is and what they like about your program, you're going to say, okay, so is it fair to say that we offer everything that your dream mentorship would need? They say yes, because it's clearly evident and obvious at this point. So they say yes. And now you're going to challenge them. Then you're going to say, okay, is it okay if I challenge you? They say yes. If your dream spouse, if your dream boyfriend, dream wife, dream husband was right in front of you, would you tell them that you need to shop around? They're going to say, well, no, I wouldn't. And then I would say, and why wouldn't you tell them that? And then they're going to say, well, the reason I wouldn't tell them that is because I don't want to miss out on the opportunity. I want to be with my dream significant other. And then I would say, exactly. So if I can challenge you for a quick second, it seems like we are your dream mentorship. And we are the opportunity that's in front of you in this very moment. Wouldn't it make sense to take action on that? They say yes, because at this point, why would they go back on their word for everything that they just told you? And then you ask for the commitment and you say, cool, so what are we waiting for? Let's make this happen. Let's get started on losing these 30 pounds once and for all. What do you say? We doing this? And you ask for the commitment. All right, I'm going to go through this one more time. I'm going to do it more fluidly so you guys can see the flow, but really like the science behind this. And I'll just go through the science and then I'll go through the flow. The first thing we do is we agree with the objection. Then we try to fish out if there's anything other than them needing to shop around. Once we've identified that they do need to shop around, we take them through the exercise. The exercise, pen to paper, creates a visual that actually shows them that we are their dream mentorship. We offer everything that they are looking for, right? We get them to confirm that. So we ask them the question, it seems like we offer everything. Would you agree? They say yes. Then we insert a life example that makes it seem ridiculous what they are doing, right? And that was the spouse example, right? Then from there, we ask them, why wouldn't you tell your perfect spouse that you're shopping around? And this tees it up perfectly because they say they don't want to miss out on the opportunity. And then you take the life example in their answers and bring it back to the real example of making the decision to join your program. Okay. Here's what it sounds like. Hey, totally get that you need to shop around. Now, before I let you do that, is it cool if I ask you a couple of questions? Awesome. Do you believe XYZ program can help you lose these 30 pounds? Great. Do you feel that you have the time for the program? Now that you've seen everything, do you feel like you have the time for the program? Amazing. And is there any underlying like fear or imposter syndrome, or do you believe 110% that you can accomplish this? I love to hear that. That's awesome. And all the financing we went through today, the payment plans, at the end of the day, I'm not asking for a commitment, but at the end of the day, do you feel confident you can afford it? That's great. All right. Now that we've confirmed all that, I would love to take you through a quick exercise. All right. What I need you to do, I need you to grab paper and pen. When you have that, let's draw a T-chart. All right, on the left-hand side, I want you to write down, if you can create like the perfect mentorship in a lab for you, what would your perfect mentorship include? Okay, now that you've completed that, on the right-hand side of this T-chart, I want you to write down everything you liked about our call today and the program that we offer. All right, now let me hear it. What exactly would your dream mentorship offer? Boom, 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 boom. What exactly did you like about our call today and our program? Boom, 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 boom. Okay. I mean, hey, is it fair to say that we offer pretty much everything that you're looking for? Is that a fair statement? It is. Great. Do I have permission to challenge you here? Okay, cool. If your dream spouse, your dream wife was sitting right in front of you, would you tell them that you need to shop around? No, you wouldn't. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you tell them that? Because you wouldn't want to miss out on the opportunity. All right, well, here's my challenge to you. If you wouldn't do that for your spouse, why would you do that for your program? It seems like we are your dream mentorship, and it seems like you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. Is it fair to say that you should move forward on this? Yeah, that is a fair statement. All right, so why don't we do this? Why don't we forget about the other programs? Dream program is right in front of you. Why don't we commit and we can get started on losing the 30 pounds today? Does that sound fair enough? Boom, they say yes. We close the freaking deal, baby. All right, y'all. Hopefully you guys like these short ones, these short objection handling ones. I love delivering them because I like breaking down the science of the objection handling, and then I like role playing it to show you guys what it should sound like. But if you guys feel the same way, make sure you subscribe, give a thumbs up, leave a little comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.